Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to yet another Dota 2 guide done by newer Dota. Today we will be looking at Tinker, one of the more common and popular heroes around in Dota for one of the longest times. Anyway, today I'm gonna teach you how to play Tinker. It's pretty much a broken hero in my opinion because of REARM, but I'll explain to you why it's broken later on in the game as we proceed on to the late game phase. Anyway, today we'll be going solo mid as a Tinker. So you could see that my starting items, I didn't got put. I started with 753 gold because I swapped with someone else. But yeah, I just wanted to get more stats so that I could outlast hit the enemy hero, which is SF in the mid lane. So getting more stats with the now talisman would allow me to outlast hit him and at the same time control him. So, which was why I actually opted for the now talisman. Jesus, why do I keep pronouncing that wrong? So you could see that my blocking of the creeps wasn't very well done, but it doesn't matter. I just have to make sure that I outlast hit him. And I'll talk a little bit about the skill build that I go for Tinker later on in the game. Anyway, generally for Tinker, you want to make sure that you go for laser at rocket at level 1. You won't want to get rocket or much of the machines because the damage is not very significant. You only want to go for the much of the machines if you are jungling, like probably on the ancients or around here for the dire side. So aside from that, you want to make sure that you get laser so that you could harass the enemy hero. So just make sure that you outlast the enemy hero, because with laser it allows the opponent to miss on physical attacks for 3 seconds. So you could see that if the creeps on your side is very low, you might want to laser him so that he's not going to get last hit. But unless he's SF, obviously he could use razors to last hit. But if it's any other enemy hero, you could try to apply the little trick that I taught you. So you could see that I'm already having an advantage in terms of last hitting. I already have 7 and 4. Wow. This guy only has 3-0, which is pretty pathetic. Just gonna go to player perspective for a little bit to see how I control. So as you can see, I'm probably gonna get a solo kill here. So you can see that I actually saved a skill point because I'm level 4 and I have not pumped anything yet. I'll explain why I actually went for 2 in laser and then I decided to save 1 skill point and then 1 in missile, because I feel that I only want to get the skill points which I feel is necessary in order to solo kill someone. So whenever there's a good opportunity in terms of solo killing or counter killing, only then would I go for the skill point. So you could see that I'm level 4 but I'm actually saving 1 skill point. So after which I'm probably gonna go for much of the machines and maxing laser. But if you don't want to overthink about all these complexity in terms of skill builds, then you could definitely go for the more standard builds, which is maxing in between laser and rocket, or maxing in between laser and much of the machines, or maxing in between rocket and much of the machines and then getting rearm. So that is another thing that you want to keep in mind when playing Tinker. But obviously I'm a very calculative player, so I want to make sure that I only get a skill build whenever I deem necessary. So if you don't want to keep up with the complexity, then obviously you could just go for the more standard skill builds. But anyways, again, I'm still saving a skill point here. As a Tinker in the mid lane, you want to make sure that you stay in lane until you get a Boots of Travel, because it's not very cost efficient to gank, considering that Tinker requires a certain level of farm in order to operate as a useful and effective hero. So you can see that I'm just gonna stay in lane until I get my travels, and also I could control the enemy hero in the mid lane because I have laser, which is very good in terms of harassing the enemy hero. So I'm just gonna stay in lane until I get my Boots of Travel. So aside from that, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the item build. The core item build that you want to get on Tinker for 90% of the games, I want to say, is obviously the sorry, I just cut off a little bit there. You want to go for the Boots of Travel, into the bottle, into the soul ring, and then into the dagger. So why actually go for the dagger? It's because you could blink into trees. Like for example, let's say you TP bottom lane, and then you could blink dagger inside the trees, and then you could land your march and keep rearming and harassing the enemy hero. It's very effective. It's very effective in terms of pushing out lanes. But obviously, there are many variations when it comes to item builds, because Dota is a very situational game, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but Dota is literally a very situational game. There are multiple items they could go for, but Blink Dagger is nearly, I want to say, a core in terms of an item for Tinker, because with the elusiveness of Blink Dagger, it's very easy for you to, as we see, I'm gonna get ganked by 2 of them, but what do? I've dropped my march, and then I laser SF, because SF right clicks are more painful as compared to the Witch Doctor. So as you could see, I survived a 2-man gang and I counter-killed the SF there. So when facing a gang, try to make sure that you stay very calm and try to think on the spot on what to do. So you can see that I'm actually maxing my laser. So maxing my laser actually paid a lot of dividends there, as it allowed me to get a kill. So, which is why I actually like maxing laser a lot, and then going to the rocket, and then going for 1 in rearm, and then maxing rocket. Sorry, I didn't mean 1 in rocket, I meant maxing much of the machines before maxing rocket. And then, yeah. So anyways, that is pretty much it. And I'm just gonna continue talking about why I wanna get dagger on Tinker. Just gonna check out the SF. Okay. Oh, he got 1 in presence. That's very unorthodox. Anyways, you wanna get dagger because of the elusiveness of this item. It allows you to push out lanes very safely so that you don't get caught by enemy heroes. Which is why dagger is an excellent item. But obviously you could go for other items such as Force Staff, which could allow you to escape, and it's very versatile as well because you could use it on your teammates. So you could see that I actually deliver a salve because I didn't want to use the auto charge that quickly. As you could see, I actually have the Haze Rune, and I'm thinking of whether I should go in, but there's a Witch Doctor, so I think twice and probably not. Just gonna back off. As I actually bought wards for myself so that I could see the room, like I did in previous videos. Anyways, further late game extension items that you want to go for. As you see, I'm not gonna get the laser on because I got fogged. Other late game extension items that you want to go for is probably Hex, Dagon, or Ethereal Blade after getting your Dagon, because that would allow you to have a lot of burst damage output. And the reason why EB Dagon is so strong is because you could rearm and then go EB Dagon someone, which could instantly have around, I want to say, 1600 nuke damage. So that is pretty OP as well. So in the late game, EB Dagon is pretty much one of the most strongest combos out there, because of how broken it is. And yeah, aside from that, other situational items you want to go for is the Bloodstone, when you are very sure that you're gonna get a lot of kills, which could allow you to collect a lot of Bloodstone charges, which would increase your mana pool by a huge amount, so that you could spam your skills a lot more when you have the Bloodstone. So another situational item that you could go for is Shiva's Guard, when you want to push up the creep wave as much as you can, but I wouldn't recommend that because Watch of the Machines is pretty much enough in terms of pushing out lanes. But Shiva's Guard is obviously another nice item you could have in terms of a defensive item, because it has the freezing aura thing, and also it adds a little bit of armor. So when dealing against illusion heroes such as Naga Siren or Phantom Lancer, Shiva's Guard is not bad of an item choice. But aside from that, you want to generally go for the Hex or Dagger into EB. And yeah, another situational item, probably use Scepter, because you could disable the enemy hero for multiple times by rearming and then use Sceptering him. But that is not the most effective items. It is only effective in terms of solo killing when facing a one-on-one situation, because by Sceptering the opponent hero, you would allow yourself to have time to rearm and then landing your skills on him again. So, but I wouldn't recommend that though. So anyways, just gonna not talk that much for now. Just gonna let you guys see what I'm doing in the at this point of the game. I'm just gonna get my Boots of Travel and then go for the Soul Ring before I try to pressure out other lanes as much as I can.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
You can see that I'm gonna quick buy Soul Ring, put it on the quick buy. So let's just check out the last hits for a little bit. SF has 55, while I only have 47, because SF has been jungling, so which is why he actually got a lot more last hits. But obviously I'm topping the charts. Well, SF is 4th because I killed him twice. So anyways, well, what is fantasy points? I have never seen this, but I don't care, as that is not the main purpose of today's video. As I got cast, no big deal, just gonna run away. And SF is trying to die very aggressively, doesn't do anything to me. Anyways, I'm just gonna skip a little bit here because this part is not very relevant to the guide that I'm doing. Just gonna skip to the mid-game phase. So you could see that I actually went for the Dagon build. And then, I got the Dagger first before going for the Dagon, because Dagon is a very strong item when it comes to nuking the opponent hero. The burst damage is no joke, as you could see. Like a couple of skills and he's forced to go back to base. So if you could constantly force the enemy heroes to go back to base, they're not gonna farm as much as you, because you have the global presence while the enemy hero doesn't. So just gonna check the gold per minute for a little bit. Obviously I'm topping the charts, followed by SF, because SF is a hero where you can farm very easily with, despite the number of deaths that he has. So he's trying to solo kill me now, but there's a Sand King here, unfortunately for him. So you could see that there's the what Tinker should do in the mid-game phase is to basically use all of the resources of the map by farming as much as you can and pressuring the enemy heroes as much as you can. So you can see that after getting this creep wave, I'm going to the neutral camp to farm. I noticed that the NC got taken away by SF, so I'm just gonna go back to base, heal up a little bit before I try to decide on what to do. So again, I'm just gonna go to the lanes to pressure out. See that I blinked into the trees, and then land my rockets, and then constantly putting out the much of the machines. And you could see that it is very hard for SF to stay in lane because much of the machines is very painful, and he's already dropping to 600 HP so quickly, which is why Blink Dagger as an item is really core for Tinker. So before that, as in what I'm trying to say is, in old school Dota, Tinker don't usually get Blink Dagger right from the get-go because the quote-unquote Blink Dagger revolution haven't started. Back then, people just went for the Boots of Travel and then they rushed a Hex or Dagger and whatnot. But after people realized that Blink Dagger is such an effective item on Tinker, they started getting it more frequently. And most players actually know about this, which is why Tinker is one of the more broken heroes if you think about it, because it's really irritating to face something like this, where Tinker can farm freely on the map without any threat. So, oh, I forgot to mention another little thing that you could do with Tinker, is that you should wait for the creeps to die before you TP back to base. So I'm just gonna demonstrate it again. So you could see that I blinked in, dropped my March, dropped my rocket, rearm for a little bit, and then dropping my March. I'm just gonna stay here and not TP immediately because I want to wait for the creeps to die so that I could set the experience from the creeps before TPing out, like I'm gonna do right here. Or I'm just gonna drop a rocket before I TP out. Yep, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So you could see that my teammates are actually pressuring the other lanes while I pressure a lane single-handedly by myself. This would create a lot of pressure, and it is very irritating for the enemy heroes because they can't devote a hero to contest with me all the time simply because of the harassment that I could deal. So SF is just gonna feed because I think his Shadow Blade was on cooldown, or it probably wasn't on cooldown, but he probably had lag issues or slow reaction or whatever, so he just died a very sad death. Anyways, just to clarify, this is a very high level pub game, as you could already tell by the kills, 10 to 2 in 28 minutes. You don't usually see this defensive kind of playstyle in low level pub games. So anyway, I'm just gonna try to get a tower last hit here. Successfully managed to do so. Let's take a look at the GPM. So Brute Vada is actually topping the charts, followed by me and whoever else. So again, it's pretty much the same thing. You just want to TP into lane, farm the creeps, get out, use as many resources of the map by going into the NC to farm or whatnot. So I kind of saw SF here, and I'm thinking of how do I kill him. Pop the dust, laser, dagger, but it's not enough burst damage, so I'm just gonna back off. So again, I'm just gonna pressure the lanes non-stop so that it is very irritating for the enemy team to deal against this. So again, with this constant pressure, the enemy team is just gonna face a lot of pressure of their lanes, which would establish your map control, because you could farm all over the map, but the enemy is only restricted to farming creeps that enter their base. So with this much map control, I told my team to get Roshan, because they are probably not going to be able to contest it. So you could see that I went to the neutral creep camp because I finished the enemy creeps. So this will allow me to get richer and richer because I'm gonna use all the resources on the map to farm, which would accelerate my farm by a huge amount. Sorry guys, just getting a little tired. So you could see that I'm trying to max dagger. I already have dagger 4. So that's pretty much how to play Tinker. The rest of the video is just gonna show me owning the enemy team because I have better items than them and I could kill them in team fights way more easily. So yeah, just take a look at the last hits. SF topping the charts because he's SF. I'm a little behind because I tried to pressure lanes as much as I could. So after getting this this enemy creep wave, I'm just gonna go to the NC to farm a little bit, or maybe not. I'm just gonna see. So you can see that we're actually gonna engage pretty soon here. Yes, I'm just gonna drop a couple of march. Oh, it's gonna go in. Stack a couple of marches before they... So a very nice combo here as I I lasered the wrong person. Should have lasered abandoned. That was a very bad choice. So just TP'd out. That was a mistake on my part. I shouldn't have lasered the abandoned there. Should probably went for SF or something, but SF had BKB, so I had no viable targets. Just gonna kill SF, and then I noticed that there is an Abaddon. He's just gonna die anyways. Blink Dagger, TP out. So you can see that I type GH as I want to buy Ghost Scepter for the Ethereal Blade. Dropping 2 marches for the enemy creep wave so that I could clear it as soon as possible before heading into the NC to farm. Or maybe not, as I see the creep wave coming in again. Just gonna farm this before going to the NC. There we go, farming the NC. So I'm not too sure about what to talk about here. I'm really sorry for the silence that you experienced throughout this video because sometimes I just blank out and I don't really know what to say. Sorry guys if I sound very monotonous. I should be more enthused in making a video. But maybe I should talk a little bit about life here, like I did in previous videos. But I'm not too sure how many people watches my videos anyway. So yeah, I'm Chinese, what up? So it's pretty much the same cycle over and over again. Just gonna leave the video up for a little bit here. Not sure if you guys are bored, but yeah, the video is gonna end soon, I believe. Yeah, it's just a little bit more, it's a couple of 5 minutes. Just hang on guys, 5 minutes of watching me own the enemy team. It's not that tough. So I've pretty much said what I want to say when it comes to playing Tinker. So just gonna talk a little bit about school. Sometimes I get very bored at school because some of the things I learn I feel is just completely irrelevant. because I already know of that, and it just bores me to listen through. It's kind of like a torture to me anyways, and that's pretty much one of the things that I hate in school. So as you can see, I dropped a lot of marchers here, and the enemy team is forced to back off because it is very painful for them to stand inside the march of the machines. So we're gonna engage here, drop a rocket before I went in. Laser, dagger, right click, rearm, soul ring, blink, dagger. Yeah, that was pretty much easy kills. Oh, you know what the most irritating is? Sorry. You know what the most irritating thing is? It's that, you know how some of your earphones just spoil because one side of the earphone just stops working. Jesus, I can't express how irritated I am because that happens to me all the time. So I actually change my earphones like every couple of months because of that. So I kinda have to spend like a lot on earphones because I don't actually know why that happens, because I have no idea. Probably because I don't take good care of earphones. I kinda EB the wrong target there. It should have been the lone druid instead of the bear. EB dagger? No? EB dagger? Wasn't enough. Should have rocket before I EB him. Whatever. Oh am I gonna die? Yeah, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Yeah, that sucks. It's gonna speed up the replay for a little bit. Am I gonna buy out? Yes, indeed, I'm gonna buy out at when I have 20 seconds. GG, being called. EB? No. Dagger. Okay. So that's how we play Tinker. And I apologize for sounding very monotonous and sad or depressing in this video. But I hope you learned something in today's video. Please comment, like or subscribe if you learned something, or if you enjoyed the video, you felt that it was helpful. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you guys next time.